Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole. And we're closing out the year, right? This is like the penultimate episode to 2023. We're coming to you at the end of 2023 if you're listening to this when it first drops. And so we're all in that reflection period, right? Or I think it's smart if we are in that reflection period. We're looking back on the year that's passed, and we are looking forward and looking ahead to the year ahead. So it's an interesting time, and I look at everything through a human design lens these days, but particularly the gates that we end with. And if you listen to the December transits episode that I did with Christina, I believe it came out on like the 29th of November or something like that. I touched on this, but as I was wrapping up the year, I was like, what do I want to talk about at the end? And this gate just kept coming up. So when this episode drops, it's going to be on Christmas Day, and we're closing out the 10th gate in the human design calendar. We're moving from the 10th gate, which is the gate of authenticity. It's the gate of the self, the behavior of the self in the G center. And we close out this year in gate 58. So we move from the energy that is willing us and guiding us to be comfortable in our own skin and rooting us into our true authenticity in gate 10 that we've been in for the last few days. And now we shift over into gate 58, which is the gate of joy. It's the gate of vitality. But it's part of this channel of judgment, which goes from the root to the spleen. And because it comes from the root, the channel of judgment is about, and gate 58 is the fuel for judging things, for being able to look at something and say, this is or is not working. So I think it's interesting that it falls at the end of the year, this time where we're naturally reflecting. So I'm inviting you into that contemplation right now. And in Gene Keys, the shadow is dissatisfaction for gate 58, Gene Key 58. Gene Key 58 has the shadow of dissatisfaction. And really, it's dissatisfaction that is fuel for something better. I'm dissatisfied with this, so I'm not disappointed. I'm not sitting here feeling sorry for myself. I'm looking at it through a critical lens saying, what can we do better? And I feel like that's the beautiful energy of this time of year. If we're in a good place with it, are we able to see without criticism, but with curiosity, what could we change? What could we shift? What could we make better? What could we judge with love and be able to bring it to the next level, all in service to joy, all in service to coming at this with greater vitality and with greater joy and with greater excitement? How can we let our dissatisfaction be fuel for something better? What is one thing that you are dissatisfied with right now in your business? As you're looking at it, you might be sitting here having the best year you've ever had, or it might be one of the hardest or somewhere in between. I think we've all had a difficult and challenging year. And first, can we look at that and say, how have I grown? Because that is what this gate is about. It is about growth in the sense of we're able to see something that's not going well and grow from it and come at something and come to something with greater vitality. Can we look at this year like that? Can we look at this year and say, maybe I don't want to repeat lots of things that happened this year, but did I have some forced growth? Did it force me maybe to become a better version of me or deepen into some aspect? And maybe if I didn't reach that completely, or I'm not satisfied completely with those results, how can I carry the lessons that I learned and continue to learn from them and continue to correct and move towards something better so that I can create more joy, more vitality, more excitement, more expansion in my life and in my business? So I always think that this is just such a nice reflection, the the gates of human design, or the gene keys, which are the exact same thing. They're just different contemplations and different people's interpretations of what they mean, but they mean the same things. If you look at gene key 58 and you look at the human design gate 58, they will be the same meaning. There's just going to be slightly different interpretations of what that means. But I think that these keys give us a beautiful lens to look at the world, to look at ourselves, and to reflect on these pieces where we can see where we need to grow. Where are we living in the shadow? Are you living in unhelpful dissatisfaction with where things are, which can result in you feeling dysregulated in your nervous system? This can feel like you're being very reactive and you're not actually using the dissatisfaction to grow, that you are just trying to get past the moment, to break through in the moment, and that's like survival mode. Anything with the root center in low frequency and low expression is survival mode, particularly when it points to the spleen, because the spleen is the center of survival. But where are you more in alignment with survival mode than with thriving? These are the things that I'm contemplating now as I was going through Gate 58. You can't help, when you understand this stuff, to look at things through that lens, to start asking yourself these questions. And when we ask better questions of ourselves, we get better answers. Tony Robbins said, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask. Well, I think that these keys give us a way of asking really great questions of ourselves, to elevate our question-asking game for ourselves. And I know as a coach, it allows me to elevate my game. I ask my clients very specific questions that are elevated for them. I'm not just asking them great questions, I'm asking them the great questions for them because they have particular keys, because we notice particular shadows showing up, because that's just how this works. If you have this defined in your chart, these are going to be themes for you that you see all the time. And if you have it undefined in your chart, it's going to show up for you a little bit differently. You're going to notice it in other people. It might be a shadow that you pull in different ways. That's what the chart tells us. It tells us what our relationship to these themes are. And that's why it's so fun and powerful. And we can see such tremendous transformation when we look at ourselves through these keys, through these gates, and see how we can lift ourselves up into the highest expression of all of them, because every single one holds a tremendous gift. The gift of this is vitality. So how can you walk into 2024 with this amazing vitality, this joy, this zest for life? That is what this key holds if we live in the high expression of it. How can you do that? So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I want to keep this one short and sweet for you. Just a little contemplation, a little pondering for you here at the end of the year in this last week of 2023. How can you be looking at your business, at your life through loving dissatisfaction? What are you dissatisfied with? And how can you shift that? What didn't go well? What are you looking at right now and saying, I could do better? I know I could do better. That's what this is about. So go out there and do better, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this. On Instagram, I'm at Nicole Official. Send me a little DM. Let me know if you have Gate 58 active in your chart, what you thought of this episode and how it shows up for you. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again for being here, for listening to this episode. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thank you for letting us help you on your journey of becoming unshakable with human design, everyone. We'll see you next time.
If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to nicolelano.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.